on the Analog Circle podcast, a new report is suggesting that we might not want to hold our breath for the Nintendo Switch Pro. We could be seeing the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order sooner than we anticipated. Microsoft goes over some pretty impressive numbers, and a big PlayStation exclusive is headed to Xbox. All of these stories can be found here and much, much more in episode 162 of the Analog Circle podcast. I am your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in yet again to another episode of the podcast. Also, I want to let you guys know this as well, and you guys know this is just how it goes every time I record, and we're here together. If you want to be a part of the next listener feedback episode, which will be recorded Wednesday. It might slip into Thursday again because I might be at work. But if you want to be a part of that upcoming episode, you can do it two different ways. You can either call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard, or you can email the show, and the email address is the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. Now, I want to say this too. If you want to listen to some previously recorded episodes of the podcast, go over to Google, type in the podcast name, it'll take you to where you need to be, and it's going to be a joyful occasion. But hey, listen, enough of all of that, enough of the shameless plugs and all of that stuff. I want to tell you guys what I have been playing. Now, this is something I meant to mention to you guys, was I beat Hivebusters, Gears 5 Hivebusters. Whoa, what a awesome game. Game was fantastic. Well worth the $20 that I spent on it. But as I went through the game, as I went through the campaign, it saddened me a little bit. I got a little sad over this game being as great as it is. You know what really made me a little sad, kind of hurt my heart a little bit. Here it is, Coalition. They have come up with a really, really solid game. No, it's not a full game. It's $20, about 3 hours long. But those 3 hours were a ton of fantastic gameplay, graphics, the story, the whole nine. But the thing that really disheartened me was, here it is. You guys know I'm not an elite gamer, not by a stretch. I tell you guys all the time, if I go online, I'm getting mopped up. You guys will be able to probably beat me with one hand on a controller when it comes to actually competing online. So my skill set is average, I would say, at best. I've never ever, kind of shied away from that. But here it is. As I'm playing through Gears Hivebusters, one of the best games that I've played on the Xbox in recent memory, outside of Ori and the Will of the Wisp and a few others, but to end that console's life cycle, officially, unofficially, I thought it was a fantastic effort. And the thing that really upset me was, I'm getting these achievements. These are average achievements just for beating the chapters of the game that you're going through. And I am getting these diamond achievements. Now, you guys know that they don't give out diamond achievements, unless it's something that is very rare, something that hardly ever happens. That's why I brought up, you guys know I'm average at best as a gamer, and I'm saying to myself, how am I getting these kind of achievements? It's simply because nobody is playing the game. Here it is, Gears Hivebusters. It's not free, but it's on Game Pass. And I'm beating levels. And this game is 3 hours long. And I'm getting achievements. These diamond rare achievements for beating chapters of the game. One achievement that I got, maybe it was the third chapter, somewhere around there. It was kind of like towards the middle of the game. The percentage popped up at like 3.8%. 0.9% of players got that achievement. And I'm saying, how is this possible? The game isn't that long. Why is this happening? And then I had to think, it has to be simply one reason and one reason only. Xbox gamers are not playing this game. They're not playing it. And it makes me wonder, is this the reason why Microsoft had to come up with Game Pass? Because Xbox players don't support the games that they release. Here it is. We want all of these sequels to these games. We want Microsoft to do better. We want them to bring out these AAAs. But yet, where is the support? When is the last time, I want to ask you guys, when is the last time you have heard of an Xbox game selling absolutely phenomenally well? Because I can't go back to Gears 5 and that did it. Ori and the Will of the Wisp, we went over the numbers. I think that sold like 220,000 copies. Come on! Are you serious? You know what? That's a question I have for y'all. I don't think that'll be the question of the week. But, I mean, God dog, where is the support for the Xbox, for the games that come out? And I don't want to hear that they don't make great games. They don't have good games. Because it has been shown that, man, my phone going off. Pardon me. Never forget, Unprofessional Productions over here. Forever. But this is the thing. We've even seen it with third-party games that have been released, that they don't sell nearly as well on the Xbox. And you could say, well, that's because PlayStation has the bigger install base. Yes, that is a fine point to make. They have half of the fan base that the PlayStation 4 has. But could you even at least kind of make it close? It was what, Hitman 3. Now I know this is not the rule, but this is kind of might be an anomaly. It might be just a one-off, because Hitman 3, I mean, it's on the Series X and it's on the PS5. Both of those are very hard to get right now, but it's already been said that it's been selling more on the PlayStation brand versus the Xbox. It just makes me wonder, where is the support? Is the support there? Or are my brethren, my Xbox brethren, too cheap to go out there and support these games? Because if you don't support them, how the world is the company gonna keep on going forward? And granted, we shouldn't care about these companies' money to a certain extent. We should care to the point where they're doing well enough to stay afloat, which means they will continue to be able to give us the content that we pay for. That's the only reason why I'm even bringing up how much they make, because these are billion-dollar companies, and we're going to go over some numbers that Xbox actually had. But it just made me wonder. Here it is, a game like Gears 5. Hive Busters. Such a fantastic game, and nobody is playing it. And it's in Game Pass. Xbox Game Pass, where the heck are y'all at? Where's the support? Man. Anyway, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but ain't no way I should be getting diamond achievements for just beating regular levels in Gears Hive Busters unless nobody is playing the game. And you could say that, well, they didn't do a great job at advertising and all of that, but I mean, yeah, that's true, but come on, man. Y'all know where it's at. All you guys listening to this podcast right now, we're the hardcore of the hardcore. We know what's going on. We know what games are being released. And it's free in Game Pass again. So, I mean, listen, man, I don't know. Hopefully, this upcoming generation, numbers are looking better. Like I said, we're going to go over those in a bit. And hopefully, we'll see better success when it comes to people actually buying games. That's how Nintendo is able to just go off and do what the heck they want to do. Their support is great when it comes to their games. I mean, they get more people buying the game that actually owned the console at one time for Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. More people were buying the game than they had sold of the console. And then we read earlier this week, I can't say we, I don't know if you guys read it or not, but here it is. Animal Crossing has sold over 31 million copies. 31 million. And then you have numbers that PlayStation has where their games are selling 10 million, 12 million, 14 million. I mean, these numbers are huge, but you never hear those numbers when it comes to the Xbox. And I just wonder why that is. And it made me, like I said, it made me also question, is this the reason why Microsoft had to pivot and start not only putting their games on PC? I mean, their games had been on PC. That's something that's always been there. They've always been on both for the most part. We just didn't start hearing that much about it until this last generation ended. It became a bigger emphasis. But outside of them doing that and putting the games day and date on PC, you know, is it because of the lack of support that they had to come up with this Game Pass model where they say, look, you pay us $10 or $15 a month and you can get these games? Was that the only way that they could make sure that they could have, or at least try to get that amount of money that they would need in order to keep, you know, the support going, because it is a cheaper price point? And maybe that's why over there on the Sony side, Jim Ryan is saying that, you know, it's not sustainable. Maybe it's not a sustainable model for him because those guys are getting money. They're getting support for their games, man. So, hey, you guys holler at me. Let me know how y'all feel about this. But that's my stance. I don't think Xbox game players are supporting the games as well as they should. Now, I'm not saying support some BS. Don't support no crap on a stick. But a game like Gears Hive Busters, it is just no way that a gamer should be overlooking that. And I'm not saying every game is, you know, everybody's taste, but it's a good game, man. And it was only $20, $20, or get it in Game Pass. Anyway, I've said enough, man. We're going to go ahead and once again, let me know how you guys feel about this. Do Xbox gamers support the games? Do they support Microsoft's efforts in the games that they bring out? I would love to know that. I would definitely love to know, because we do hear, as much as I give them crap, I do. I give PC guys a lot of flack. Not the guys that are cool, but the ones that think they're so elite. You know, it's always only aimed at those guys. But they do go out and they do buy some games. I mean, you can't take that away from them. They will support sometimes, depending on what it is. Sometimes. Man, matter of fact, nah, scratch that. I ain't giving them that credit. Take that off the table. Nah. Scratch that off. Listen, let me know what you guys think, man. That's all. Anyway, man, that's all I was into, you know, during the time, and I put it up on YouTube, Beat the Game. That was a while back. I meant to mention that, but outside of that, this week, I didn't get a chance to really even get back into Cyberpunk 2077. No, I did. I played on it for about maybe an hour or two. I didn't get as deep into it as I wanted, but I did get a chance to go back to it, and it's still been a lot of fun. But here we are, 14 minutes in, and I haven't even gotten to the first news story of the week. And pardon the show being up late. Fell asleep. That's just the honest truth, man. I fell asleep. Then I got into some other stuff, and I'm here now, brothers and sisters. So, pardon the tardiness. Will I do better? I would hope I would, but I can't even guarantee it. Next week might come up, and it might be up again on Monday. So we'll have to see what happens. But anyway, without further ado, because I think this is going to be a long episode. God dog, we ain't starting out great as far as time goes. But let's get into the gaming news, because that's what we all come here for. That went down. Now let's start with some light. This is some light PlayStation news. Now I think it's a fair assessment that Ghost of Tsushima will be getting a sequel, even though it hasn't been announced yet by Sucker Punch or Sony. However, a LinkedIn update from Sucker Punch's cinematic creative director, Dave Malloy, spelled Molloy. Y'all know I'm bad with last names and first names for that matter at times. But Dave Malloy, which was spotted on Reddit over the weekend, his profile read, quote, presently working on the Ghost of Tsushima game for Sony PS5, end of quote. Now, however, his profile has been changed from PS5 to, quote, PlayStation. So I'm sure Sony nor Sucker Punch wanted to be too early on this announcement and wanted to cover this as quickly as possible. But just off of this LinkedIn profile, once again, Ghost, another game that was extremely successful for Sony. Fantastic game, awesome quality. I have enjoyed it so far. Haven't got back to it in about 2 weeks or so. I gotta be honest with you on that. But it's not because the game isn't good. Just haven't had time. And Cyberpunk happened, and that took me even further away. But the game has been a success. Sold millions upon millions of copies. There's no reason why we wouldn't expect a sequel. But just him actually having that on his profile at first, that he was working on the PS5, Ghost of Tsushima, on his LinkedIn profile, and then changing it to just working on a PlayStation, on a PlayStation, game, that, definitely tells us basically all we really need to know. The game, I'm sure, is coming out, and then we can take it to another level. I mean, now this is a real major stretch. I don't think Sony would do this because Digital Foundry has already played the game on the PS5 and it's been performing very, very well. So I don't think they would need to do that, but who knows? Maybe they could go in a different well, not really a different direction, but who's to say they might not build maybe possibly somewhat from the ground up a PlayStation 5 version of Ghost of Tsushima, which could have been why he had that in his profile, that presently, quote, presently working on the Ghost of Tsushima game for PS5. So you can look at it two different ways, but I'm looking at it from the perspective that, yeah, this is definitely a sequel that they're working on, and they just didn't want the word to get out too soon because they haven't announced anything. But as always, I mean, I'm sure this is a short bet, but we'll definitely keep our hand on the pulse when it comes to a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, which has been awesome so far. But let's get into the next story. So this actually flew under my radar, and I'm on the pretty late freight for this one. But Outriders has been delayed from February 2nd, which would have been tomorrow the game would have been being released, but it actually has gotten delayed until April 1st. Now, even though that's a little bit of bad news because I'm looking forward to that game. People Can Fly. You guys know they're one of my favorite studios. They were behind Bulletstorm, and anything that those guys do, I always want to show support. But, you know, even though it is delayed, it is a little bit of good news in this as well, because People Can Fly did say, they said this in a Twitter post, and I quote, "For this reason, we're excited to announce that on February 25th, 2021, we will be publishing a free demo, giving everyone the chance to play the first few hours of the game with all 4 classes in both single player and co-op, along with seamless migration of your character and progress to the full game." End of quote. So at least on February 25th, later on this month, we'll all be able to play the demo. It doesn't look like it's going to be locked to one certain platform. It looks like they're going to be allowing Xbox players as well as PlayStation players, and I'm sure even PC for that matter, players to also play the game as well. So for anybody that was interested, that might have been on the fence, February February 25th, you will be able to play the demo of this game. And I think it's going to be great, man. I have a lot of positive thoughts about People Can Fly. I know the one Gears game that they made, that didn't do too well. And I gotta say, was I a fan of that one? Not really. No, I wasn't. But Bulletstorm definitely made up for it for me. That game was phenomenal. But yeah, enough of that. Let's go ahead into the next story. Now, good gosh, sheesh, here we go again. Now, this next story could be a crazy one. And I only say it could be because it's a rumor. But the conglomerate known as Tencent, these guys are humongous. They are back in the news, and it's being reported by Tweaktown that sources have told TMT Finance that Tencent is raising billions of dollars. Now, if this is true, I don't know, but this is going to raise a lot of eyebrows if it happens. But they're raising, allegedly, billions of dollars to force a hostile takeover of EA to buy them out as well. It doesn't just stop with EA, but they are allegedly also trying to take on the juggernaut Take-Two Interactive to buy them out as well. Now, do you guys, jeez me Christmas. Now, it was just reported earlier, well, last week now, because I'm recording this on Monday, but they had got some minimal stock in Don't Nod. Don't Nod, they actually have a percentage. Now, it's not a threatening amount of a percentage that they have stock into that company, but just the fact that they continue to buy into all of these different companies. These guys are a major problem. Do you think it's possible that they could come in and they could take over EA? And not just EA, but Rockstar, aka Take-Two Interactive? I mean, this would be insane. Now, I do want to say this, even though this sounds crazy and just something that I just can't put into perspective that could ever happen. But they did say that the more likely scenario is they would buy South Korean developer Netmarble and Nexon. And as a side note, if you weren't aware, Netmarble is South Korea's biggest mobile game maker, and Netmarble is behind Dungeon Fighter. And this is the thing. Would you like to know how much Dungeon Fighter has made? They've only made, about $10 billion worldwide, becoming the first game to record 1 million concurrent users, and has since, as of June 16th, 2020, peaked at 5 million players. So here it is once again, Tencent. These guys are buying up everything. I don't believe that EA would sell. I don't think they would be hostily taken over. I don't think that it would happen to Take-Two Interactive. But if you guys go back a couple of episodes and just listen to how much revenue these guys have coming in from all of these different pots that they have their hands dipped in, these guys are making just generation after generation after generation after generational wealth. I mean, these guys are making billions off of one or two things, and they got their hand in a ton of stuff. So just the fact that they have that much capital, and they continue to dip their hands in all of these different companies, I would not doubt that they have the money to actually take over EA or Take-Two Interactive. Now, whether they'll be able to do it, that's the bigger question. Will those guys allow them to buy them out? Once again, I don't think that's possible. And the mobile game maker, Netmarble, and the other, what was the other company? I'm trying to find it here. Anyway, Nexon. That makes more sense because they are heavy, very, very heavy in the mobile market. And that's where they absolutely make a ton of their money. So for them picking up this company who has made $10 billion so far and became the first game to reach 1 million concurrent users. I think that would be the money cow that they would absolutely be going after. So we'll have to stay tuned, man, and just see what they do. But yeah, like I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, they already got stock in Don't Nod, which are I believe the team that was behind Tell Me Why. I believe they were behind that. So they're always dipping their hands into all kinds of pots. So I'm sure that EA and Take-Two would be no different. So we'll have to wait and see if this comes true or not, though. But moving on, speaking of money and numbers, let's get into some Xbox news. Now, it has been reported by Microsoft's CEO, Satya Nadella, that Xbox Live has more than 100 million monthly users, which is outrageous. Is that many people? Well, we also got to remember it's still on PC as well. They got some Xbox Live users on PC that they're gonna count, and those guys don't even have to pay for online, which that burns me up. Matter of fact, I believe I know where the question is gonna go this week. So you guys will know before we get there, but we'll get to it when we do. But so they have the 100 million monthly users, which I mean, like I said, you could take that as that could be a little inflated because of the PC side. Are that many people still playing on the 360 and Xbox One? I don't know, but that's what they're reporting. 100 million monthly users, which is great. And Nadella spoke about this during an earnings call earlier this week. And it was also revealed in the Verge article that now this is great. This is fantastic. That Xbox Game Pass now has 18 million subscribers in the service. Now, if you guys remember back in September, it was at 15 million. So that's a jump of 3 million in just a little over 3 months. I would say 4 months tops, but I'm sure they're meeting quarterly. So that would be 3 months. So by December, from September to December, they jumped another 3 million. That's basically what? 1 million people coming in a month in between that time, September to December. That's a huge number. Now I also want to point this out too. Because everybody talks about, Microsoft as a whole. We understand that Xbox, they're in the Microsoft ecosystem. They own it. But people always say, well, golly, Xbox can't be making that much money. How much are they making? Microsoft is going to have to bail them out and give them extra money. How are they going to pay for this acquisition of Bethesda? And we got some crazy news on that as well that'll give us a better timeline on when that could happen. But how are they going to be able to afford that? Well, listen to this, man. They made more than $5 billion. This is the Xbox division alone. This has nothing to do with Microsoft. And of course it does have to do with Microsoft, but this is just strictly on Xbox's own strength. They have made $5 billion in one single quarter. So here, look, the acquisition is $7.5 billion. Here they've already made $5 billion, and we understand that that's not all profit. They're going to have to divvy that up, move it around, make up for some losses that could have happened along the way for people not picking up Hive Busters and playing it. They could use that money and, kind of move it around and smooth things over. So we understand it's not all profit, but just the fact that they made $5 billion in a single quarter, that does say a lot. God dog. Yeah, that, man, you know what? Some of y'all might be yelling at me right now and saying, well, Kiaun, if people are not supporting the Xbox brand, how the world did they come up with $5 billion in a single quarter. Tell me how that's possible. Well, I would say, man, you might have me on the ropes, brothers and sisters. I should have went over my notes a little better than this before I went out there talking about those numbers. But it's one thing that we can factor in here. It's just one thing. I only got one thing to lean on because I'm on the ropes right now, trying to do the rope-a-dope at the moment. But the only thing I can think of is, and this is no secret, people are home more. Unfortunately, people aren't working, which was crazy because, that GameStop situation happened. Bravo to the Reddit guys over there that socked it to the man. One good time. I was so glad to see that. It was awesome to see some of these hedge funds get hit badly, losing billions of dollars. I loved it. Loved to see it. But we know that people are home more, and as a result, gaming is going to go up. I mean, they were talking about these record-breaking numbers that they've been seeing. This hasn't happened. Just to put this in perspective, for the Xbox division, I believe they haven't seen $5 billion in a quarter since like 2017. It's taken that long. So we're talking about like 3 years. It has not been this high. So we can tell just from that alone that this is a specific situation that is going on that has helped their numbers get to this point. Now, I'm glad to see it because you guys probably can't tell the way I talk about them, but I am preferably a Xbox player. I love the Xbox brand, and that's why it makes me so upset when I see that it's not doing as well as I think it could be doing. How they're getting beaten out by Sony with, these third-party deals almost at every single turn. And it upsets me because I know that they can do so much more and so much better. But that's why I get upset with them. Anyway, this $5 billion being made is fantastic news. And hopefully the trend, oh man, I messed up. Golly, pardon me. I messed that all up, man. Golly, let me fix this. There we go. Can y'all still hear me? I think I can hear myself. But yeah, man, the $5 billion. Anyway, man, I'm about to keep on repeating myself about this $5 billion. It's fantastic news. But let's go ahead, man, and let's move on to the next story. Now, we are, 32 minutes in? Do y'all think I can make it home? Can I make it home before the time is too far gone? Can I make it back home in an hour or less? We shall see. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Over the last couple of weeks, Star Wars gaming news has been at an all-time high. And this week continues the trend. Now, this is a rumor, so once again, as I always say when it comes to this stuff, take it with a mustard seed of truth. So this rumor is coming from Comic Book. A Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2 is in the works. Now, what's being said that the sequel will pick up exactly where the first one left off. The game is supposed to have a cameo of Darth Maul, or at least that's what they're allegedly in talks to get done. Now, the game is supposed to be on PS5, Series X, and PC because the game will be using the Unreal Engine 5 engine. Now, wait a minute. God dog. Now, just think about this for a minute. If this is true, once again, it's rumors. None of this has been confirmed by EA or the guys that are behind this, the Titanfall team, Respawn. Nobody has said anything officially, but think about this for a minute. If this game is going to be running in Unreal Engine 5, which actually releases this month. Oh, yes, it's supposed to be out sometime this month. That takes me back to that tech demo that they showed on the PlayStation 5. Good gosh. Can you imagine how amazing this game could look in that engine, being allegedly exclusively only on PS5 and Series X along with PC. Now, the information doesn't stop there. The article also said the Inferno Squad will be making an appearance, and the rumor ends by saying the game will release. Now, this is what really bugged me out. They said that the game is supposed to release in 2022. Which is next year. And they did say just on a side note, new Inquisitors, one allegedly will be Terra Lane, something like that, one of the Inquisitors. I'm not super indulged and up to snuff when it comes to the Star Wars lore, so hopefully some of you guys understood that, because I didn't. Terra Lane, I don't know what that is. But getting back to this story, man, 2022, that made me wonder, well, golly, if that is the case, and it'll be out next year. Once again, rumors, people, rumors. You guys know how this goes. How many of these things do I get right? Hardly any. So, let's just keep that in mind, and let's, kind of have our expectations, at a certain level accordingly. But if this turns out to be true, could that mean that we could see some of this footage later on this year? Sometime this year? Because 2022 is nowhere from here. We're already in February. It's February 1st already. So sometime between May, June, or over the summer, how incredible would it be to see this game running in the Unreal Engine 5 engine, I guess. I need to word that better. Unreal Engine 5. I'm going to just say that. Inside of that program, how crazy is that going to look? I'm looking forward to seeing what Gear 6 looks like in that. I'm looking forward to seeing what anybody is working with. Not what they're working with anybody that's working with Unreal Engine 5. I'm looking forward to seeing what they will be able to do with that. Now, on a side note, kind of stepping away from Jedi Fallen Order 2, the sequel, allegedly, stepping away from that, on a side note, I missed this too, but allegedly Battlefront 3 could be getting announced soon too. And this rumor started because two Battlefront 2 actors said that they were working on a secret project with one another, and someone on Reddit started proclaiming to know about the game's development. But the straw that broke the camel's back was when EA gave away Battlefront 2 on Epic Game Store for free, which made people also say, wow, are they really trying to get, this game back out into the spotlight and, get people excited about the Battlefront brand? Could this be a marketing tool? And you know what? That actually kills me, though. I wonder this all the time. We get crumbs on the console side with some of this stuff. Like Pac-Man was free for everybody at one point last year, along with some other smaller titles. Why don't we on the console side get breaks like this, where these publishers, just say, hey, you know what, guys? Here, take the game for free. Go ahead and get it. And you don't have to be signed up for a service to get these kinds of games. Why doesn't that happen for console more? Makes me say, God dang, man, did y'all forget about us? Did y'all forget about the console gamer? When's the last time you guys remember getting a big AAA game for free? And I don't mean under your PlayStation Plus or your Xbox Live subscription. I mean literally a third-party publisher or developer just came out and said, hey, we want to give you guys this game right here, A, B, or Z, whatever the heck it was. When's the last time you seen something like that? I can't recall at all. We always are locked into a subscription to get the games that we want. We don't ever get anything on this level for free, but on the PC side, you hear about those guys getting a lot of great stuff just for showing up to the store and downloading it for free. Matter of fact, speaking of Battlefront 2 being given away for free over there on the Epic Game Store. They said that people came through to download the game, but they did not see any extra money as far as, traffic of spending went. They still didn't see that big spike in spending. Yeah, a ton of people came, they downloaded the game, and they got the heck up out of there, man. They spent a nickel or a dime. Didn't see one financial spike of money being spent on the store. So once again, PC guys, hey man, y'all go where the free stuff is. I get it. Or the cheaper deals. I get it. Hey, I go out there on Black Friday and get games cheap. I go out there and catch a game on sale for cheap. I do it myself. So, I guess I'm probably a hypocrite when I talk about y'all doing it. Now I'm mad because on the console, we don't get the same perks as y'all. God dog, pardon me. Shout out to my brother Z. I guess I was capping and cooning right now. Anyway, let me go ahead and move on into the next story. Because, man, I'm getting myself in a lot of hot water in this episode. Good gosh, let me try to get to where some of the AC is. So, let's talk about this for a minute. Speaking of online games, woo-wee, developer Ninja Theory said this when it comes to Bleeding Edge in a tweet, and I quote, "With the studio now focusing on our new projects, Senua's Saga, Project More, and the Inside Project, we have decided that there will be no further content updates for Bleeding Edge. The game is still playable on Xbox and PC. Thank you, fans, and keep teaming up and causing chaos." End of quote. Now, Bleeding Edge. Oh, I had such a gripe with this game. Oh, it was just a waste. But Bleeding Edge came out March 24th, 2020. So in less than a year, support for this so-called passion project, because that's what they've been dubbing all of these games, passion projects. Less than a year, the door is closed on any brand new content or updates. How committed were you, Microsoft, to this game? Now, first off, when I heard that this was the game, oh my goodness, anger and disbelief just flooded my face. When I saw this, I was so mad, just so blown away that Microsoft sat there and let these guys make this game right here, this passion project. And I'm saying, you are just wasting these guys, their talent on this game. We all knew it wasn't a good game. Again, another mediocre game released, and you didn't even need to do it. You didn't need to. It didn't move the meter when it came to Game Pass. It didn't move the meter for people going out and buying an Xbox One. It did nothing. But have you spend money that you could have put into a better, more polished AAA project. Now, granted, I give them a lot of credit over at Ninja Theory. At least they are moving on. They're moving on to the bigger and better projects. And because of that, they can no longer be bothered with this Bleeding Edge that came out. But how many of us really believed that Bleeding Edge was going to be the answer, Sway? How many of us sat there and said, oh, man, this is the game right here. Oh, this is going to change the tide. This is going to be incredibly received. Everybody's jumping on Game Pass. Everybody's getting an Xbox One for Bleeding Edge. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Here it is, less than a year. All of the support for the game is out the window. And nobody cares because nobody cared to begin with. God, dog, I understand you had to whip up something, Phil. I get it, brother, but good gosh, I would have just rather you just never even released that. You talking about these passion projects? How much passion was put into it when less than a year these guys are jumping ship and like, nah. We're off working on what we really wanted to work on now. So yeah, that passion project, man, forget about that. Look at this hand. Look at what the left hand is doing, and don't look at the right hand trying to wipe this whole thing clean on this side. Man, they ain't fool nobody when it came to them coming out with Bleeding Edge. We knew it was a stopgap. But God, dog, most of us didn't even want it to be a stopgap. We just wanted Ninja Theory to work on a game that was AAA, that was going to get us excited. That was all we wanted. And you took the resources. I don't care if it was a 5-man team. I don't care. You took resources to build a game that I think you really knew that you weren't going to support in the future. Less than a year. Man, I think that the writing was on the wall from Jump Street, especially now that these passion projects, how much are they really about passion versus just being a stopgap, trying to give the Xbox fans just something to play, something that's mediocre to just shut them up, and just say, look, we got games coming. They're passion projects. We got them coming. Stop being on our back about this. I would rather you keep your passion projects and just make some AAAs. Make some great games. That's all you got to do. You don't have to double and triple AS, double AS and single AS to death. If you want the narrative to go away, that Xbox has no games, make AAA games. And in between, we understand you can't have every single game coming out as AAA after AAA after AAA, but give a very, very good mixture of AAA and AA. Sony does it all the time, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. You know why? Because when they come out with those smaller titles, they're able to cover it with the big titles like God of War, Uncharted, name your poison. These guys have a ton of games allegedly, can't say for sure, but allegedly coming out this year. So it doesn't look nearly as bad, but when you're just giving mediocre game after mediocre game, and that's all you're giving us, then it just begins to be a huge snowball effect where people start saying, well, that's all you have. So Microsoft, I would just recommend again, stop with the passion projects. Just work on what the teams not only want to work on, but stuff that's quality. That's all it comes down to. Work on some quality triple A's. That's all you got to do. That's how you change the narrative. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's darn sure not as hard as you're making it out to be. Forget the passion projects. Stick to the triple A's for the moment and sprinkle in the passion projects. Anyway, we're going to move on, man. We're going to move on. It just really bothered me. And I'm sure I couldn't have been alone. When it came to this doggone Bleeding Edge, I knew it wasn't going to be a huge success. Come on, Microsoft. You're better than this, Phil. Come on, man. Anyway, once again, shout out to them. They're moving on to the bigger, better projects. Hopefully we will get some info on those very soon. I think we will, especially on Hellblade 2, Senua's Sacrifice. I think that's going to be like I said, that's going to be the diamond right there. That's going to be the one that I think is going to amaze us and really have us look at Ninja Theory a second time, because I think people forget how amazingly talented those guys are over there. And I'm just hoping that Senua's Sacrifice will be the one to show everybody just what kind of talent level we're dealing with when it comes to Ninja Theory, man. But anyway, let's get into, now to me, This is, in my opinion, the biggest story this week, especially if you're a baseball fan on Xbox, because according to Benji Sales, in a tweet, he wrote, quote, MLB The Show 21 box art has leaked. The crazy part, seeing a big PlayStation Studios logo right on the front of the box art of an Xbox game case. MLB The Show is consistently a high-selling title, and now it's going multi-platform. And now with its going multi-platform will be even bigger. End of quote. Now the cover athlete is, well, it's not even alleged now because I wrote this last night. A lot more information has come out about this game. You guys know my memory is not so good, so I'm going to try to remember some things, from the article that I read earlier today, but just sticking with what I had written down last night, they were saying that the cover athlete was going to be San Diego Padres shortstop Fernando. His last name, I think, is Tatis, Tatis. I don't know. And no disrespect to that brother, but I'm just having a hard time with his last name. And I say allegedly, well, no, I was just saying it was alleged because it wasn't confirmed, but today it was true. And they did say, let me see. Yeah, that's the thing. This isn't new news because back in December of 2019, Sony did say that MLB would no longer be exclusive. We just never knew when it was going to happen. Now, I do want to point this out. Matter of fact, I was talking about that it didn't look like it was going to be an updated version for Xbox. All right, now this is when I try to remember what I read earlier today because a lot of information came out. They said that, now this is so dope, man. They said it's going to be cross-play between Xbox and PlayStation on MLB The Show 21, which is incredible. I know I was against crossplay at one point. I thought it was ridiculous. I didn't understand why that was so great or why they would do that. But many people enjoy it. So, shout out to them for doing that. They're going to be having it, cross-platform. And it'll also have cross progression as well, which is dope. I believe the game is going to be releasing on April 20th. And what else was there? They did talk about the game and a upgraded version, but the way, if I'm remembering correctly, the way they worded it was you wouldn't be able to get an upgraded version off of the last generation consoles unless they said you might be able to get it with that one of the limited edition ones, kind of similar to 2K20. What was it? The last 2K that came out where they said that you would be able to buy the $100 version and that would automatically update you to the next generation version of the game. I think it's going to be something like that, but they said that information should be coming out sometime tomorrow. But and also the game is going to be $60 on last generation and $70 for the Series X and the PS5. But this is the thing, man. Who the world saw, like I said, 2019, they said it was going to happen, but who could have imagined that this is a reality? A PlayStation only exclusive is now available on Xbox day and date. This is amazing, man. And now I'm pulling up this article. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let me see. Hold on. Yes. Okay. Here we go. Arriving April 20th. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I think I gave you guys pretty much the points, the main points Okay, it says if you purchase the standard edition on last gen PS4, or Xbox One and upgrade to a next gen console, you won't be able to upgrade your copy of the game to the PS5 or Xbox Series X/S version. However, Sony's FAQ page revealed that if you buy the collector's edition, of MLB The Show 21 for Xbox or PlayStation, you'll receive both the current and next gen versions of the game. Okay, so I was close. I was pretty close on that, remembering it. So, yeah, but can you guys believe that? We are here. April 20th. MLB The Show on the Xbox. Not just PlayStation, but the Xbox has gotten it. This is one heck of a day. It's one just unbelievable day. Now, what does this mean? Because we've heard for quite some time the moves, and I haven't been a fan of them, that Microsoft has been making. Phil talking about that, he's not opposed to the idea of putting Game Pass on a PlayStation or a Nintendo console. Is this the beginning of something we've never seen in gaming? Because say what you want about Microsoft, we still, outside of Minecraft, and just to put that in perspective, Minecraft was already on multiple platforms before Microsoft bought the company. But outside of Minecraft, what other games from Microsoft have you seen on the PlayStation 5? I mean, well, you could say Cuphead is there, right? Cuphead has made its way over. It's a smaller title, but it's definitely over there. I don't think Ori is on the PlayStation, though, is it? I know it's on the Nintendo Switch. But what other games does the PlayStation have that are, because this is a big AAA game. This ain't even a AA. This is AAA. MLB The Show is the best baseball game out there. And for years, it has been a major drought when it comes to baseball games on the Xbox. I mean, they give you the RBI baseball, but who the world is looking for RBI baseball to play that versus The Show? For the first time, the drought of licensed MLB games, the baseball drought is finally over when it comes to Xbox. It's incredible. I don't know what the heck this means for the future of gaming. I have no idea. But my goodness, how many of you guys are picking this up that actually have an Xbox? How many are saying, you know what, I'm going to dive in? Because you better believe, buddy, PlayStation fans going to feel this one. I'm not saying they're going to feel it, like that. I'm saying that Xbox fans are going to rub this all over PlayStation fans' face. Oh, it's coming. It's probably crazy on social media right now with this announcement. They are going to they're going to have a field day with this one. So, I mean, what the world is going to happen in gaming? Stuff is so different than it used to be already, with the way things are going from, me being into gaming at such an early age, as to, up to where it is today. So many things have changed, man. And this right here, this marks another huge change. MLB 21, The Show, is going to be on the Xbox. Crazy. All I would say is Xbox fans, before you get out there jumping out the window trying to rub it in PlayStation fans' face, don't get too, don't get too cute. Don't get too cocky, because we have seen Microsoft do things that we have never wanted to see happen. So I would say just take this one. It's a W. My goodness, it is a huge W to get that you don't, if you are a baseball fan and you are an Xbox fan, but you really love baseball, you no longer have to get a PlayStation for that MLB licensed experience in gaming anymore. It's incredible. And just to add just a little bit more to this, and I'm not going to remember this verbatim, this quote, but one of the guys on the team for MLB, the Show 21, he did say that he was excited because this allows many people to go out there and play the game that may have never experienced it, before, or would have never got a chance to experience it because they don't have the PlayStation platform. Now, once again, I just put that together. That is not verbatim, but, basically just bits and pieces of it that I remembered. The biggest point was he was happy that it would be out there for everybody to enjoy. And we've heard Phil Spencer constantly say that, that's why he would never take any game off of any other platform, because he wants everybody to enjoy it. I'm like, Phil, God dog, you gotta select some, Phil, to keep off. I mean, you can't have your whole catalog going everywhere. So, anyway, biggest story of the week to me. Very excited to see what happens. It's really dope again that you'll be able to cross play between the Xbox and the PlayStation. That's fantastic. And bravo, man. Bravo. MLB 21 is going to be on the Xbox. God, dog. Now let's go ahead and let's get into, now this is a quick news story. And we're going to talk about Bloober. Bloober team, of course, they're the guys behind the Medium. Now, this right here, this is absolutely crazy to me, because it was announced via money.pl, which is a Polish publication, that the Medium has managed to cover its production and marketing costs just days after the game released. And according to WCCF Tech, the budget for the game, they covered this in a few days. The budget of the game was around $8.5 million. And they made that up in a few days. Matter of fact, when the heck I'm about to Google this real quick. What day did the Medium release?
The official release date of the Medium was January 28th, 2021.
You mean to tell me, now God dag, the 28th of January, the Medium released. That's 29, 30, 31st. I wrote this down last night. That was January 31st. In 3 days. God dang, this is making me look worse and worse when I talk about that Xbox fans don't support games. God dog, I can't get out of this hot water. I'm on the ropes and I can't get out. God dog, so in 3 days, they made, essentially, if they're saying that they covered the production and the marketing costs, they made $8.5 million back in that time. 3 days. And they did say in the article that people, the people were buying the game. God dog. But $8.5 million back on a small title like this in I would have never, ever seen this coming. That the game was this successful where it made back all of its production and marketing costs in less than a week. That's, god dang, man, that's, gotta give him a round of applause for that one. Good gosh, man. Shout out the Bloober team. That's all I got. Golly, shout out to the Xbox fans that supported it, and went out there and bought it or played it in Game Pass or however the world you were able to get your hands on it. Speaking speaking of Game Pass, man, you guys know it's that time, man. I want to thank y'all, the listener, for listening. For any of you guys that have wanted to try the medium or any other games that are in Game Pass, if you've been interested in the service, maybe thinking about giving it a chance, since 18 million people are subscribed to it right now. I have a code right here for a month of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Now get your pens out, get some paper and get ready to write this number down. Let's see if you're interested once again in Xbox Game Pass. So the number is as follows. It is 2CR6HQXDXJ7M, M as in Michael, 7M FKTK 76VJ. Let me make sure that's what that is, because I don't want to mess up. That is a TQDHZ. If you're interested in seeing what Game Pass is about, type that number in and, enjoy. It's just a small token, me saying thank you to you guys for rocking out. It really, really means so much to have you guys here. And, thank you guys for the support and always spreading the word. So, if you have a Series X or S and that's a game you are interested in playing and you don't have Game Pass and you didn't want to go out and spend the money, then there you go. That's a month from me to you. And thank you guys again. But let's go ahead and get into the next story. How many more stories do we have here? We're over an hour already. It don't even matter. We're going to just keep on going. So in Nintendo news, Nintendo had an investor Q&A after they discussed their latest earnings report. So one of the questions asked was whether the company would announce an upgraded Switch model, where Nintendo president Shintaro Furukawa said, and I quote, "Not anytime soon." End of quote. So I don't know if we should be holding our breath. Matter of fact, I got to give Bloomberg and IGN the credit for this article right here. But I don't know if we should be holding our breath. Ladies and gentlemen, they already said that the Switch is doing so amazingly well. It is outsold the 3DS. It is at 79 point something million, almost 80 million have been sold, as of this Q&A investor call. It's like I said before, I don't know if they have the incentive right now to even, say, let's move on to the next thing, because they are selling at a crazy amount right now. Here it is. They're not even quite 4 years in, and I've talked about this before, so I'm not going to harp on it too much more, but not being 4 years in and you're already at pretty much 80 million sold, that just makes anybody sit and say, why mess with the market? We're doing well. We're doing so good right now. Why would we mess up a good thing? Why not ride this train until we can't ride it anymore? So, for people kind of like myself that were interested and wanted to get that announcement of the Switch Pro, hoping it was going to happen, sometime in the next month or two, man, like I said, according to, at least like the IGN article said, according to their president, don't expect it anytime soon. So, man, we'll have to see what happens, man. We'll have to see. But moving on, not to harp on that too much more. In Microsoft news, some more Microsoft news. Microsoft requested the European Commission approve the ZeniMax acquisition, and they actually presented this to the European Commission on January 29th, 2021. Now, the EU will make a decision by March 5th 2021 to decide whether to approve the acquisition. So this gives us a nice time frame. I understand this is over in Europe and not in the States, but I'm sure they have to have everybody on the same page in order for this to go through. Now, once again, I'm not well versed, not at all, when it comes to acquisitions and how that whole situation has to play out. But they were saying that, some of the things they would be looking for is to make sure that it's basically Microsoft wouldn't be getting a monopoly on the market, something like that. So they got to take that into consideration and make sure that it's no other things that could happen once this acquisition, could happen, once the acquisition would happen, pardon me. You just want to make sure everything is on the up and up. So it seems like just this date alone, by March 5th, I guess we will all know that by that time, whether or not Microsoft will be able to acquire ZeniMax, as it were. So just stay on the lookout for that. And that's great that we at least have a timeline, because I thought it could have happened sometime in June. It could have been stretched out that far. But at least for once again, the European Commission, they have until March 5th to say yay or nay when it comes to this. So, we'll just keep our eyes out and keep our hand on the pulse. Now, moving into what I like to call the Rumorville. Not Rumorville, but Rumor Boulevard. I'd rather be on Rumor Boulevard. Let's take a stroll down there, because news, it's being said that we could get I messed up. Let me start over. We on Rumor Boulevard, but we're gonna the news that's coming out is about Mass Effect Legendary Edition. They're saying that we could get some news about the game this week. Now, this started from Game Informer's Leanna Rupert, who tweeted and said, and I quote, "You're going to want to keep it tuned into Game Informer on Tuesday," which is tomorrow. We've got some exclusive content to reveal and an entire month of additional celebratory content that I think you'll love. You're not going to want to miss it. End of quote. I kind of butchered that, but y'all got it. But the Push article also brings up the fact that The Gamer is kicking off a full week of Mass Effect, quote, news, interviews, and more, end of quote. Now, the game is allegedly releasing on March 12th. Now, once again, this is all rumors, so take it with a mustard seed of truth. But what I want to point out is The Gamer, them actually having a full week of coverage of this. It makes sense, because if the game still is coming out March 12th, which is next month, it would be in EA's best interest, BioWare's best interest, to get the ball rolling a month before time. I mean, you put a weekend here, you put a couple of days in over at Game Informer, get people interested, get people rejuvenated, wanting to see, how the game looks on these consoles. I know it's not going to be an official next gen game, but I'm sure, like they said, they'll be boosting certain things when you play it on the 5 and on the Series X. So it would make sense to get people excited, wanting to get that interest level up, and doing it a month in advance could definitely do that. And I hope it is true. I would love to see something on Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I would love to see the frame rate. I would love to see how good the resolution is, and, gameplay, if they added a few things, if they, how much they bumped up the textures and all of that stuff. I would love to know if they added some behind the scenes stuff into this Legendary Edition, what's going to be, what can we expect in the package? Is there going to be like I said, a behind the scenes, kind of, I don't know if they're going to put a DVD in there. That's so old now. You probably just have you download something, off of, Netflix. I mean, whatever the case may be, man. Y'all know what I'm saying. It'll be interesting. Hopefully this is true, though, and we'll find out. Because tomorrow, like I said, Leanna said, tune into Game Informer. It may be something Mass Effect related, or it could be something totally left field. But I think that'll be a good gauge as to, what's going to happen, this week or this month when it comes down to Mass Effect Legendary Edition. But let's go ahead. Let's get into another quick news story, and we are winding down here. Quick news story. Destruction All-Stars will take up 28.32 gigabytes of hard drive space on your PlayStation 5. And that's one of the free games this month, so it's not gonna hurt you. It's not gonna hurt you. Not too bad. Less than 30 gigs in today's gaming time. Man, that is absolutely awesome. Anytime you got Call of Duty taking up 100 gigabytes and Cyberpunk taking like 62 or 63 gigs when it comes to all of these updates and stuff. 28.32 gigabytes. That ain't bad at all. Speaking of hard drive space, hey man, when the world are we going to hear something about the PlayStation 5's expandable hard drive space? Here it is. We're in February, and we have heard nothing. I mean, granted, the console came out in November. You're talking December, January. So that's almost 3 months, though. And Sony still has not said anything about what their solution is going to be to this hard drive situation. I mean, man, what hard drives are going to be compatible? We have heard nothing about this. My goodness, Sony, what the world is going on? Are y'all going to talk about it or just act like y'all never said it was going to happen? We're going to have to keep our eye on that. How many of y'all forgot about that? I sure did. Well, I don't have the console either, to be fair, so I guess I wouldn't be thinking about it. But for you guys that do have the PS5, have you been wondering, when the heck is Sony going to tell me what hard drive I can get that's compatible with the doggone system? Man, oh man. Anyway, I think are we in the last gaming story this week? Yeah, we are. All right. Now, since we are on Rumor Boulevard, as it were, let's just stay there for a little bit longer. Let's just keep on strolling down the block. Because according to retailer GameWare.at, Breath of the Wild 2, Zelda, Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out in the second quarter of this year. Now, of course, I got this from Games Radar Plus. This was an article from them. Now, also, we got to remember, this is Zelda, the franchise's 35th anniversary. Link is turning 35 years old. Matter of fact, this month, because on February 21st, Legend of Zelda was released. February 21st. God dog, 35 years ago. So I'm sure that they're going to do the same thing for Link that they did for Mario by giving him, man, who knows? He might get his own Game & Watch, which I did get the Mario, which shout out to my baby. She got it for me. I was so proud and happy to have it. I ain't even opened it up. It's still in the box. And I don't even think I'm going to open it. I'm going to put it down there with all of the other Game & Watches that I have, the arcade versions of them. So happy to have that piece of gaming memorabilia from Mario for his 35th birthday. So I'm sure, like I said, the Link, he's going to get the same love. He's turning 35 years old, February 21st. So, who knows? Hopefully this is true, because what I've heard is this year doesn't look like the Switch is going to have a ton of software coming to it this year. I mean, the matter of fact, speaking of that, who is the guy behind Bayonetta 3? Told you my memory is horrible. The guy that's directing that's behind that, I've brought him up a million times on the podcast, but he even said that you might just want to forget about Bayonetta 3 for a while. Now, what the world does that mean? I don't know. To me, it says this ain't coming out for a minute, so stop asking me about it. I thought that we would be seeing something on it real soon, because last week we had talked about what he said. He said that not only does he have Bayonetta that he's working on, Bayonetta 3, he's also working on some other things, and he wants to give people updates when it comes to those things as well, those projects. So I thought things were looking bright, and now all of a sudden this week, last week, he talks about, don't worry about Bayonetta 3, just basically, kind of put it out your mind for the time being. So I don't know. A lot of mixed messages. And once again, that goes back to the point that Nintendo doesn't seem like they're going to have a lot of games this year on the Switch. So hopefully this Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 rumor is true, and we'll have it sometime second quarter of this year, because if it's not a lot coming out, then you're going to want to at least give the people what they've been anticipating to try to hold them over until you can get your footing back up under you. I mean, we still don't know when the new Metroid is coming out, the new Metroid Prime, a lot of big games that we just haven't really heard much from, being basically, for me, Metroid Prime, Bayonetta 3, and Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild 2. So we'll see what happens with this, but that is the end of the gaming news this week. Also, before we get into video game theater, I want to let you guys know that just as a reminder, Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection will be released on February 25th on the Switch. And since no one seems to have claimed the Nintendo gift card that I gave away, golly, at this point, like 2 weeks ago, nobody ever got back to me telling me that they got it. So I'm assuming nobody got it because nobody got back to me. So this is $20 on the Nintendo eShop, and the number is as follows. It is COD. Now, hold on. Yeah, that's a C as in the number 0DNWK 481K9G3SC3. Type that in. It's for $20, and hopefully somebody wins it, and will get back to me and let me know that you got it. Also, for the Xbox Game Pass, let me know that you got it. That's all I ask. Anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and let's get into some video game theater. Now, this week's video game theater features one of Xbox's shining stars, the Xbox One's shining stars, Sunset Overdrive. And we pick up where our hero is meeting a band of people living out their fantasies. So, after this week's video game theater, we will return. But until then, stay tuned, guys.
Just be careful.
Come on, they're LARPers. You gonna shoot me with a foam arrow? Hey there. I'm looking for Ignatius.
Interloper!
Whoa, what's an interloper? Somebody call off Roid Rage!
Come forth, burglar, and face my justice!
I call it truce! Or timeout or whatever!
Do you wish to swear fealty to the king?
Yeah, fealty. Let's do it.
Proceed to the altar. on bended knee. Do you swear by the old gods and the new to serve King Ignatius?
Wait, that's Ignatius?
Do you swear fealty?
Yeah, by all the gods and trees and wizards and stuff. Is my quinceañera over now?
You may rise.
I'm not a doctor, but does the king need a coroner?
Alas, our king has fallen ill. I pray you can liberate him from the spirits that afflict him.
I sense some epic missions in my future.
And welcome back, game players. Welcome back. We are in our final section of the podcast, and like I said earlier in the show, I know you guys knew what it was from the beginning, but let's go over it officially. So, question of the week is, should Microsoft get rid of Xbox Live Gold? Now, we saw that it was already an effort that was put out there last week, or a week before last, for them to do that. It was unsuccessful, and it should have been. Doubling the price? God dog, man. I mean, slow increments, Microsoft. Slow increments if you're going to do something like that. But thankfully, the community spoke out, and it did not fly. Now, I have had this problem with Xbox for quite some time. Now, granted, I have to put this out there. You guys know I don't pay for Xbox Live Gold. I don't. So I'm not affected like some people are, but I'm coming at it from this perspective. I don't think it's fair that here you offer it on PC, Xbox Live, and Gold. Well, I mean, I know you have to pay for Gold or whatever, but here it is. It's free on the PC to be online underneath that service, and your console player base has to pay for it. I've always thought that was a major problem, because to me, it's like you're giving a finger to your console fan base and trying to get in all chummy with the PC side when they didn't get you here, as it were, when it comes to the gaming side. They didn't get you here. Your console fan base got you to this point. And here it is, you go over there on the PC side, you're giving them all of this stuff for free, but yet console guys still have to continue to pay for it. Now you have this new service that is called Xbox Game Pass. We understood that was the move that Microsoft was basically trying to do when they were upping the price. They were trying to coerce people into going into Game Pass. Now, if that is what you want to do, Microsoft, we know that this is your golden egg. We know that this is where your focus is. If you want to do that, why not drop Xbox Live Gold and completely focus on that? Because as it stands right now, you guys have 18 million subscribers into that service. Now, we once again, like always, we don't know if these people got in for $1. We don't know if they're subscribed for a month or if they got a trial or something like that. So it's hard to say how many people are really paying that $10 to $15 a month. But let's just say that is the case, that 18 million people in there, they are all paying, let's say, the $15 a month, the ultimate, which gets you Xbox Live Gold anyway, as it were, essentially. Now, with those numbers, Microsoft could be making potentially $270 million a month strictly off of Game Pass. You up that for the year, on a yearly basis, they could be making, with 18 million subscribers, $3,240 million yearly. You get 2 of those years, and the doggone acquisition for Bethesda is paid off. It's paid off just off of the subscription of 18 million. I mean, you double that, pretty much double that. Let's say you get, I know it's not quite 20 now, but let's say you get 40 million. You just double those numbers. That's over 500 million a month off of Game Pass. So Microsoft, you have carved out a new niche for yourself where you can make this money without having to charge for Xbox Live Gold to make buku amounts of money. Now, once again, with corporations, we understand that they don't just want money, they want more money and more money. It's never enough. But if you have the PC side, the PC guys over there playing for free, why can't you just adopt this model, this Xbox Game Pass model, and just make that the new standard for if you're going to charge for online, versus charging just for Xbox Live? If Game Pass is where y'all are trying to be, and this is y'all new charge to get people into the service, then concentrate on that. Xbox Live Gold should be no more. That's my opinion. I think they can make up for the difference from it, with Game Pass for what they would be losing on the gold side. And I think they have the potential to do even more, to make even more. Because if you make your online free, then that's goodwill. Now, I don't know how far goodwill is going for Microsoft right now. They're doing very well. Obviously is doing very extremely well for them having a record quarter where they made over $5 billion. So the goodwill is paying off. Granted, it's a few caveats in there, but it's overall paying off for them. So if they were to do this, that could attract more people to the platform. Possibly. You gotta have the games, Microsoft. You gotta continue to get some better games into the on the platform. But with it being free online, that could do wonders for you. And then once people are over onto your system, they're playing on your console, then who knows? They may say, you know what, this Game Pass thing, I keep hearing about it. Let's see what that's about. And all of a sudden, you possibly got another customer into the ecosystem. So that's my question to you guys this week. God dog it. We are an hour and a half in. This is ridiculous. I got to do something about this time, man. But just get at me. Let me know your take, what you think. I'm going to get the heck out of here. I was your host, Dag. If you want to be a part of the listener feedback, I'm trying to get out of here. You can do it two different ways. Call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard. Or you can email the show, and the email address is the analogcirclepodcast@gmail.com. I was your host, Kiaun Mitchell, holding your day up like, God, dog, this is unacceptable. I'm out of here. We will be back on Wednesday, maybe Thursday, to record listener feedback. And like I said, if you want to be a part of that episode, write in, call in, and let me know what you think. But before we officially get out of here, and thank you guys so much for the support, but always remember, it is not about the consoles. It is about the games. So until between Wednesday and Thursday when we do it again, you guys take care. Be safe out there. God dog it. Bye-bye.